Hello. Hi. Welcome to the video. Today it's a bit of a different video. Feel like I'm saying that every time now. We are gonna explore the manga books. I got all of them here. Huge. We're gonna talk about my one, two, three, four, five. My top five manga books of all time that I enjoy. So grab your cup of tea, coffee, whatever you want, and let's talk about manga. If you guys are manga fans, you know this outfit. Yeah. Ta-da! First thing first, as I said in the newbie tag, which I got a lot of wonderful responses in it, and thank you so much for welcoming me to the book community here on the YouTubes. I'm still new at this stuff. But I mentioned that I'm dyslexic. Dyslexic. Difficult word to say. So when I was a kid, I got into reading or book reading slower than others. It took more time for me to read. It was kind of a hassle. As I said, it was like I saw ants on the paper, like the text was moving around on the paper and I couldn't control it. And that's annoying. I started to read more visual stuff, graphic novels, and that stuff before reading books, because I had a hard time with books. And the Pokemon was airing on television. You got your Sailor Moon, your Beyblade, and I really liked those cartoon characters. And then I found out that there are something called a manga, which is a physical book of those cartoon characters. So instead of watching it on television or wherever you watch it, you can read it. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. Yeah, I'm down for some Pokemons. So I always enjoyed stories, and I know that manga books are a very visual media compared to books as text form, but it's still books. So we're gonna talk about the manga books that have left a mark on me, that are important to me. I discovered manga when I was in my early teens, and I read the Shonen Jump stuff because that was available. So Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto. Can we also just say that One Piece Netflix one is fucking great? Sunny for the win. Anyways, a lot of shonen, then which is like action manga, people fighting. I'm an Aries. But then I also read some shoujo, which is more typical girly stuff with like relationship and all that stuff. These books I have here are everything in between. So let's head into one of the books and I will tell you guys about it and show it. Yes. So, tada! This one. Blame. Blame. Yeah. I always thought that it was Blame for the longest time, but then I heard someone say the title and I'm like, oh, it's Blame. I had no idea. This is a series. This is book number 1. This is like a deluxe edition, so it's huge. It takes place in a cyber world, like in the future, a dystopian one. Very much in the reminiscence of Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049. It's very atmospheric. The mangaka or the author of Blame, I believe, was an architect before or studied architecture doing this. And it really shows, like, the environments are freaking amazing. and it's so palpable. Like the world building is so freaking good. The characters are not super duper impressive at first, at least, but it's more about the world and the atmosphere, which I enjoy. And I'm a sucker for like cyberpunk-ish vibes, which is right up my alley. Let me see if I can show you guys some of my favorite pages. Like this two full spread page. Stunning! Look at that shit! Oh my god! It's insane, the details in it. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah. Amazing. And it's very, very gritty, the manga. Very like dystopian, gritty world. And has such cool like designs on like the suits and that stuff. So yeah, if you enjoy cyberpunk-y stuff that are very atmospheric, highly recommend them. Violent manga, but if you're into action and not too scared of blood and that stuff, great one. Yes. Next manga book. We're gonna delve into something a bit more calmer, not so much action. Goodnight PunPun. Or Oyasumi no PunPun, I think is the Japanese title. Oyasumi Goodnight PunPun. Really cute name. This is PunPun. And you follow PunPun throughout their life, from being a very young kid to going into adulthood. And it's a very realistic portrayal of growing up and going through school and like normal problems and like family dynamics. The main character is this little ghost bird thing. Same with their family, but the characters that are around are illustrated as humans or normal faces. It has such a cool art style. Yeah, like the top here, like the expression of the face. The faces are amazing. Like you really feel the emotions that's going on. And yeah, it's so freaking cute. It's about life and growing up. This, I believe, we follow a male, a kid growing up. So there are certain things I can't really relate to, but it's so humanizing and sad and about, you know, love and crushes and what your body's going through when puberty hits, and it's wonderful. So highly recommend Oyasumi PunPun, Goodnight PunPun. It can be quite a sad read, so you know, take your time with this series. This is book number 1. Love this one if you're into some more slow drama with some humor, very, very grounded stuff. Yes. The third book, we're gonna ramp it up again. It's Monster. You guys have seen this before. In the other video I did. Can I put it on screen here? Can I do it? Did I figure it out? This is a thriller book that's about a surgeon. This wonderful man in here. He's like a top surgeon, really, really good at his job. And this accident happens where there are one kid that is brought in who's been really badly injured, and he has to save the kid. And the parents got killed by something. The kid is barely surviving. He performs this surgery and is able to save the kid from bleeding out and dying, basically. And then it turns out way later that, well, it's in the first book, so it's not a big spoiler. This is also a series. This is book number 1. with all the mangas, it's always a freaking series. It turns out that the kid that he saved, the surgeon, was the one who murdered the parents. Like, he was the one that offed his own parents. So that really fucks the surgeon up and really traumatized him, that he saved a murderer without knowing that he did. And this kid kind of haunts him when he's older and really affects the surgeon, and he changes and is trying to rewrite history, trying to make things right. He need to get balance in life and stuff. Like, when he's a surgeon, he has the code to like save lives. But then when this kid who's gotten older, I think he becomes a serial murderer or something, the surgeon feel like it's his job, that he has to end it all. So he goes to like freaking boot camp and get buff and like is trying to grasp the idea of taking a life, which is some pretty heavy shit, you know? And that's that. It's a really like a tug of war series between the surgeon and the kid, but there's also a bunch of other characters in it, and it's a really like interesting psychological series. So if you're into some thriller and also, you know, thinking about things, then heck yeah, Monster I highly recommend. And the art style in this book is very like, it feels very 80s in my opinion. Which I don't know when this came out. The art style is very simplistic, clean, that stuff, but it deals with some adult topics. And yeah, this is how it looks. Very much recommend the opening of the anime, because there's an anime to this. The opening track is really haunting, and even the closing track, the opening and the ending is what you call it, right? Yeah, really haunting stuff, a bit creepy and that stuff, spooky vibes. Ooh. Next book, this is more mainstream. The other ones, I mean, they are known, but they're not like mainstream. So this is gonna be my big one that's mainstream, probably by a lot. Ta-da! Tokyo Ghoul! Japanese edition, that's why the can you. I think this book was, I was at the exactly right age to get into this series. Once again, a series. This is book number 1, no special edition. It's a shonen jump series, an action series, but it's really humanizing. It's not so much focus on the action, at least in the beginning, I would say. Then it kind of ramps up more into the action heavy stuff. It deals with the main character, this Kaneki Ken, and he lives in Tokyo, Japan, and there are things that called ghouls, Tokyo ghouls. And ghouls are basically cannibals that are disguised as humans, kind of like vampires. Like, you can't really tell exactly if someone is a ghoul or not, but they eat on people, they prey on people. And sadly, this main character goes through where he gets turned into a ghoul against his will, but he's still human. So normally ghouls are born like ghouls. You don't get turned into a ghoul like vampire, turning people to vampires or whatever. Vampire Diaries. It's a really interesting thing where he tries to hold into his humanity. He don't want to lose that and become like a monster or a cannibal. Also, he has this new nature to him, this hunger that he can't control. And it's a very sad, for sure, it's a tragedy manga, this book, but it's a really sad and interesting about grasping into yourself and not losing yourself, but also you have to accept that you changed. You can't ignore that, you can't close off that part of you. And then he gets to know a bunch of characters and get new friends, and it's a really tragic series. This character goes through so freaking much. The older ones too, but oh my god, it goes there. Tokyo Ghoul, I believe, is maybe 14 volumes or 15, and then it ends. 14 of these. But then there's a Tokyo Ghoul Re, which is a continuation of the story if you want to keep reading. And I really adore this art style. This is the first book. I still think this cover is actually pretty neat. They were really developing their art style still in this first book, and they gotten so much better over the years, which is like, story-wise, I like Tokyo Ghoul, but art-wise, I like the Tokyo Ghoul Re. You might have seen it in the backdrop. I changed it now, but I always have the art book in the backdrop. Let me show you. This one. This is the art book of Tokyo Ghoul Re, the continuing manga, and I feel like this is where their art style really bloomed, and I just love the way they illustrate, basically. Let's see if I can show you guys. You see this? It's very simple, but it's very stylistic and messy, you know? It's really cool, really cool. And yeah, I just think it's so dope. They kind of have like this, it's not realism. Like the characters are very simple, very 2D, but the way they color makes them so three-dimensional and so alive. It's kind of a mix in between manga and trying to make something realistic in a way with the coloring and that stuff. So yeah, I just adore the art style. I got this book, but also in the backdrop here I got a blue one. This is the first art book. Adore Tokyo Ghoul, but I think, once again, I think it's just one of those books that came at the right time, at the right moment for me. I can see how a lot of people might not enjoy it because it is so sad and so tragic, and it has a lot of action in it, and you know, it became mainstream. And normally I don't enjoy too much mainstream stuff, but I think this is a great story, and it feels like it was made with love. And then it became something way more bigger. And then for the last book, we're gonna go into something a bit more lighter. This book I have is only with the Swedish titles. I'm sorry for English viewers. I'm gonna try to translate it and describe it. Tada! Drömmanas Djup. Drömmanas Djup. The Death of the Dream. And then I don't know what the English title to this book is. I tried to figure it out on the Googles, but I couldn't find it. I don't know what the English title is. I have no idea. This book is made by Hisei Iwaoka. They made Saturn Apartments, the Amanyu Forest, some series that are not too long. And this book is only one book. It's only this. It's a one-shot, which I very much enjoy. I told you before, normally manga books are longer series, but this is it, baby. This book is very used, and that's why it's so dirty, but I adore this book, so that's why. This is about dreams and afterlife and death and mourning and like life stuff. It's a very beautiful world that explores this dream landscape that. Hello, editing Sophie here. My camera died. Yay! It was fully charged when I started, but I guess I was yapping for so long, so camera died. So I'm using my phone now, just to wrap things up. The last book that I was recommending was this one, Dream Landscapes. Really, really cute stuff. I mean, this is such a non-manga style, right? It's so adorable. It's just one book. It's so great. And, you know, it deals with letting go and the part of your life. It's a really beautiful book that I have read so many times, and I just adore it a bunch. And I can't do it justice here in the end, and I'm sorry, but yeah, read this one. It's really heartwarming, deals with some heavy subjects, really cozy book, and I just adore it so much. So yeah. So thank you for joining this video. I know it's a bit different. Now I'm using my phone. But thank you. Give the likes, subscribe if you enjoyed this. What are you guys' favorite manga books or graphic novels and that stuff? Let me know in the comments. Do you have a top 5 or any favorite one that affected you in your life? And you know, books are books, whatever they are, visual media with pictures or, you know, written words. So let's discuss that. Thank you for joining this video. I was extremely sleepy when I recorded this, so we will see how it turns out. But yeah, thank you for joining. Take care, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.